Yeah. Did
So
it stop yours? Or does yours still say recording? Okay, wait. Okay, wait.
yes, mine's saying
Cool.
recording too. I didn't
Okay.
know you could do that actually.
I didn't either. I just decided to try it.
Huh, so I wonder if okay, so when I leave the meeting, anything that I recorded will come to me and then it will go to you. Perfect.
Right.
See, that's I
See?
like that now.
Mm-hmm. I do too. That's why I said, let me try it.
Awesome. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump right into it then.
I'm ready.
All right. Awesome. So, good morning, everybody. My name is Sean Banks. I'm the president and founder of Cash Consulting. And today I am actually joined by Arba, the digital technologist, today as we talk about differentiation for small businesses. But before we jump right into it, Arba, please take the time to introduce yourself, tell us about your business and what you do specifically.
Okay, so my name is Arba Cooper, and I have been in marketing since the 90s. And I have several brands that I operate under from being in business for so long, but I can do everything. I started with doing print design or desktop publishing, everything from business cards, brochures. This was before Vistaprint and Canva. And then I moved into web design and all of other digital marketing like email, social media, videos, and now I'm more training. I'm more of a trainer. I'm teaching other entrepreneurs how to be effective with digital marketing, whether they do it themselves or hire someone else to do it.
Nice. So, you're actually the digital marketing wizard, sure to say.
You can call me whatever works for whatever generation. I'm generational.
Okay. Well, again, thank you for taking the time to join me today. As you know, I have been talking about how small business owners can differentiate their business. For those who are watching this video, I do have an article on my website that actually talks about differentiation. And I also have a YouTube video as well that you can watch that talks about how you can differentiate your business. But Arba, I want to hear from you. What does differentiation mean to you?
Well, it took a while for me to really understand. Just like if you think about just like when you're in grade school, and there's some kids that want to be like everybody else. So you have like your trendsetter, and through elementary up through high school, you have the popular kids and the trendsetters, and so a lot of kids try to dress like them, be like them. They want to be in
Yeah.
that clique. And so the same thing happens when you first, or the same thing can happen when you start a business, is you have people that they look at what is everybody else doing, and they think they have to do what other people are doing. Well, I learned at an early age, and it was kind of by default, that I was a nerd, and I still am, but I put my own spin on it. That I love technology, or math and science is what they really called it then. I love math and science when I was young, and I was born and raised in a small town that was predominantly white. The high school is predominantly white, and I was the only Black child that was in honors program. And I was in
Wow.
the honors program, just because I did well in school. And so I already stood out. I was
Yeah.
called token at that time. And I didn't like it, but that's who I was. So I was different from, when I was young. And then what I learned is to use that to my advantage. My name is different. So every time they do roll call, everybody giggle and laugh when the teachers say my name wrong. So I learned that being different is actually an asset. I learned to embrace it because it made me stand out. So differentiation is something that we all, I believe we all have it at
Yeah.
at some kind of way. You just have to learn to mature in it, and I had to learn at an early age.
And it's funny that you say the word learning how to mature and your differentiation. And one thing I've noticed is that some people either don't know how to differentiate themselves or what makes them specifically different. And when they do, they don't know how to capitalize on it. So can
Mhm.
you tell me specifically, like what steps did you take to actually help you mature and what makes you different?
Awesome. Yes, I because of being my degree is engineering.
Mhm.
And so I tend to be that did me well in school because I understood things and was able to do it. But in person, it made me very kind of calculated in my
Right.
in how I talk to people, how I think. I would think everybody should know this, you know. So I started working on my self-development. I took like Dale Carnegie, How to Win
Okay.
Friends and Influence People. I took some other, there's something else called PAR, Probe Align Raise. And I just started really working on my people skills. And then in addition, in high school even, because I was called a nerd, I tried to round myself a little better. I took drama. I was a part of the drama, cheerleading, track. So I did
Oh,
some things to balance myself. I had like, you know, they say left brain, right brain. So I
yep.
really tried to develop my right brain because my left was already good. So that's what I would say is I think your question was what can people do? You gotta know what your strengths are and then you gotta develop. I don't like to call them weaknesses,
Right.
but develop the other side.
So yeah, you brought up a good point. We don't like calling weaknesses. Maybe we'll call them gaps for this conversation.
Yes.
Yeah. And yes, that's a very good point. Um, but I'm glad you are able to figure out what made you different and how you actually matured in it. And it's funny that you say you're an engineering degree major and you managed to pivot over here to the marketing side of the business. And I'm curious, did that actually play a part in your journey to differentiate yourself?
Well, first, I wouldn't say I pivoted.
Mm,
I've been, when I look back over my life, I have been steady. I've just keep rounding. I feel I'm like clay that I may have been like, you know, the bottom of the pot, very specific. And now I'm just branching out and but I'm still that same pot, but I'm
right.
just becoming more well-rounded. So what happened with me is actually I was working for Hewlett Packard as an well, actually, let me go back a little bit. When I was recruited from college
Mm,
and the and I like I said, I love the math and science, but I learned the path for I'm sorry, I keep going back. You know, when
no,
I
you're
got
fine.
such history, I have to keep going back to put the dots together. I loved physics. That was really that was my jam was physics and mainly because of my physics teacher. My physics teacher would teach concepts using like for instance matchbox cars. Y'all may not even know what matchbox cars are, just look it up, google it. But anyway, he would take in tracks and he would get different cars, put them on the track, and he would tell us about mass, velocity, what would change the speed of something. It was just awesome. And so learning that kind of way, I loved math and science. So when I was in college and graduating, and the recruiters were coming, and I was, you know, again a high scorer, so highly sought after. And when he asked me, "What would you like to do?" And I said, "You know what? I'll tell you what I don't want to do." That's how I was just very direct. I don't want
Yeah.
to be an engineer. I said, I don't want to design. Don't put me in some room designing something. Don't put me with a
Right.
bunch of other nerds because I had developed myself by that point. I had developed my ability to communicate and I didn't want to be pigeonholed. I didn't want to be like that. And he's like, wow, you're pretty spunky, you know. He said, you know what you want and don't want. So when I worked for HP, I started in customer service because I was able to talk technically to other engineers, but sell. That's what they needed. They
Yeah.
needed people to be able to sell understand the product and sell it. And so that was I was different, unique then. And so then I'm trying to remember if I went off task with your question. Oh,
You're
what
fine.
how did I pivot? You called it pivot. I didn't call it pivoting. But because I was already into sales. So what happened, my hairstylist, and again, this was back in the 90s, she wanted some unique business cards, and you couldn't get those back in the 90s. And I, at HP, there wasn't any project that they couldn't put me on that I couldn't handle. They would just, Arba, we need you, like, do this project, do that, because I did not stay in one position. So I had already had a lot of marketing knowledge, sales, training. I was exposed to a lot in corporate America. So when she wanted some unique business cards, I had access to the software and tools back then because, again, there was no Canva and
Right.
Vistaprint. So I told her, I said, yeah, I can do some business cards for you. So I did some business cards for her. The other hairstylists saw them. They wanted those different business cards. I was like, wow, there's a real need for this in this community. And my business, so it's like the business built itself while I
Right.
was still self-employed, making good money. And I was just feeling a need for my people.
I think the biggest thing that you said, and it goes back to your physics teacher, you said that you knew yourself and you knew what you wanted. And that is always the key when understanding differentiation, because if you don't understand yourself, because you're the most important product out in your business. And if
Right.
you don't know who you are, you can't make the right choices that's going to guide you to ultimately what you want to do. So
Right.
that's a very good call out, and a good thing to say, actually. Um, but I want to shift to my next question, which
Mhm.
is, as Arba, the digital technologist,
Mhm.
how are you differentiating yourself against all the other alternatives out there or other people who consider them digital technologists?
Right. So well, I don't that digital technologist is a new thing. But what happened with me, and this is a plug for all of you coaches out there, coaches, consultants, back in 2022, around the beginning of 2022, I started to just feel I don't know. I kind of felt like I hit a wall.
Mhm.
I'm very successful with my web design business because I've been doing web design since the 90s, and my clients love me. And I'm pretty much at a good plateau. Was a plateau with that, but I'm of a certain age, as we say, and I was like, you know what? I'm not trying to go into my 60s just being a web designer. And
Right.
so I started seeking a coach, and I met a sales and marketing coach that had matched my energy, which she can't believe it either. It's like we get together. She matched my energy, and I told her, I said, I need a change. I need I need I don't want to just be a web designer, even though I'm not any old web designer, you know. I want, this is the pivot. If you talk about pivot in my life, this was the pivot. Excuse me. So she worked with me and helped to assess what I'm good in and what I'm better in, you know.
Right.
And that's how I started developing train my love, my passion, and it's been there all the time. And it probably circle all the way back to my physics teacher is I love training. I love helping others to understand technology, make it fun, make it not so intimidating, so that baby boomers, you know, like myself, can do it. And so that's what how I introduce myself now is that help I empower solo entrepreneurs to understand digital marketing, whether they do it themselves or hire someone else. Like I said at the beginning, that's
Yeah.
where I have transitioned and pivoted myself to now. Not sure if I did I answer that question. What was
No,
the question?
I believe you did. It was proper. It was how you differentiate yourself against other people that claim they're digital technologists or doing
Right.
the same thing that you're doing.
Oh,
Um,
that was the thing. My marketing coach was the one that helped me to come up with this new name, digital technologist, because
Okay.
after she learned who I am, what my history was, and all of that, she says, no, you're not just a web designer. And and well, we worked together and we came up with the name digital technologist, and
Nice.
that's what I am. And so I love it because when I get in meetings or networking, and then that's the question people will ask, what's a digital technologist? And
Yeah,
that opens the door, because it's not they don't nobody's going to ask what is a web designer. And
exactly.
I'm not just a regular web designer. And one more thing, the little plug. So this book, Not Arbitrary, my marketing coach helped me to write, well, encouraged me, challenged me to write this book. And this book is about my leaps of faith to a purposeful life. This is my own little biography. It's real small. It's only 50 pages. I was like, you're not gonna get you're not gonna get a whole book out of me. And it's got pictures, so I'm different too. It's got my pictures in there and everything. But it's talking about how I came to be, how I embraced who I am, the mistakes I've made,
Mm.
the transparency to become who I am today.
That's another good call out, and I see you're dropping gems today, Arba. For those who've actually watched my YouTube video, from a business perspective, I talk about how you can differentiate by price, your suppliers, your partnerships, but I didn't really talk about the people side of differentiation, and that could be your employees or even you as a business owner. Because even your own experience and the way you tell your story could be how you differentiate yourself in the market. So I'm
Mhm.
glad that you actually helped, put that nugget into my head and I'm hoping that anybody who watches this video can find ways to use that as a way to differentiate themselves as well.
And they can find it on Amazon. and, and,
Yeah,
and look, the plug again, the thing, not arbitrary, that just means there's nothing arbitrary in life.
yeah,
That when you look back, you'll connect the dots, and you'll see that every encounter, good or bad, is helping to mold you and shape you into the person that God has truly called you to be.
nice. I really like that. And to help round out and wrap up our segment, the last question I have for you is what advice do you have for small business owners who are looking to differentiate?
Stop chasing and doing, stop going with the norm, stop doing your research and saying, well, do your research. Actually, let me go back, do your research and then find how you can be different than everybody else. So do your research and see what is everybody else doing, and take that challenge, take that opportunity, but make it your own. So if everyone else is speaking, doing speaking engagements, whatever, but you really are truly an introvert, then either then don't do it, or work on your introvertness. I hate when people, I don't say hate, hate's a strong word, because a lot of times people equate engineers or technical people as introverts, and no, we're
Yeah,
not. No, we're not.
yeah,
So introvert is a label. You can drop that label, stop saying, because people become the label they call themselves. So
yeah.
I've met many people that their excuse for not doing certain things, I'm an introvert, I'm an introvert. Well, if you are a solo entrepreneur, drop that label, because you have to get out there and
Yeah.
promote yourself, you have to network, you have to know how to sell, and you can't use that as an excuse. So
Oh,
that's my advice, is you need to not embrace what makes you unique, but not anything that's holding you back.
exactly. 80% of the battle is all about mindset. And if you're already coming in with the mindset that you're an introvert or you're expecting to fail, then you've already lost the battle. So
Right.
that is a very good call out right there. So that being said, No, Arba, again, thank you for taking the time to speak to all of us today. I would like to remind everybody that the 3R Summit is coming up in July 25th at 3 p.m. Eastern. If you have not registered, there will be a link for you to register in the show notes of this video. In fact, Arba, you're actually registered for the 3R Summit. Can you tell me
Yes.
what you're looking forward to?
Well, I mean, you talk this whole thing we're talking about differentiators, and remember I said you got to know what your competition is doing. So I honestly I registered because I'm like, why aren't I on that summit? So, so I registered to see what everyone else is doing, and hopefully I'll be on the next one. I'm just being honest.
Okay. And for those who are watching this video, the 3R Summit is free to register. This is for any entrepreneur, small business owner that needs help in the core foundational areas of their business, such as marketing, sales, technology, mindset, and business finance. So if you have gaps in those areas, you need to be at this summit. It's completely free to register, and we have 5 coaches that's going to be there to help in each one of those areas. So take advantage of this and come and learn something that's going to help move your business forward today. With that being said, thank you again for taking the time to speak with us, Arba, and I look forward to our next segment.
Awesome. My pleasure. Thank you for asking.
Awesome. I stopped the recording on my side.
Then I'll stop it on my side. See, that's cool then. That,